I told them what I need, and they don't mind what I used to be. No matter how much they screwed up out there, 'cause see, no one cares.
Welcome everybody to Behind the Biscuits, where the Hirst Brothers are going to dive into some of the bands that we've handed biscuits to. And today we have one of our favorites, the #1 biscuit holders, Die Krogers, with their song Alice. We gave them 93.66 biscuits. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Yay!
Unreal. Yeah. Thanks for coming out. This is an awesome experience, and it's super cool to meet you guys. And just from coming from the podcast and knowing your music and checking all your other stuff out, and now we're here, Zoom call to Zoom call, face to face. So that's awesome. Do you want to go ahead quickly, for my sake and for anyone listening and watching, just go ahead and introduce yourself? It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Who does this?
Let's start.
Each one of us?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Like, I'm the drummer guy here, so been with the band for a year and a half or so, and yeah, so the Krogers as a complete band back at 2019, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, from then we've never stopped like rehearsing every week. We're like these kind of guys who are always like Tuesday is our rehearsal day, and then we are like fixed day. We never miss one. So yeah, from 2019 this way. Yeah.
Amazing.
His name is Albert, actually.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I play guitar, and I was in the band since the conception. Yeah. Which probably started in 2018, maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. And what? That's Joel, and that's
Joel. I'm the singer. I play guitar as well. So actually, Arnau and me, we started 3 years ago, more or less. Just we did some little concerts in little bars. We were just two acoustic versions, and then so 1 year, 6 months ago.
Yeah, I joined, and we started with some.
Yeah, and that's me, the most recent introduction to the band.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I was in high school with Albert, with the drummer.
Yeah.
And he knew I played bass, and one day he was like, hey, we need a bass player, I have this band. And I was like, yeah, I'm coming and we can try. And we tried and it worked, so here I am from, I don't know, from last summer, something like that.
Mhm.
And that's where we are now, like releasing new stuff and enjoying playing together.
And we
Yeah.
got a date, our first date.
First concert,
Yeah,
yeah.
first concert.
yeah. We've actually never played live yet, but we have the first one coming because
Yeah.
due to quarantine and stuff like that, probably
Yeah.
we couldn't find venues to play because nobody was opening. But yeah, we have the first one in a month.
Yeah, next month actually. So.
Amazing.
Is it going to be recorded?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna record it.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna record the whole concert probably, and then we'll see how many songs we release, and I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it's going to be recorded.
That's the intention. Then the live.
Well, that's super cool, and must be super exciting to kind of look forward to your first. I wish we were able to attend. That would have been amazing.
It'd be great.
Yeah. Well, next one.
Yeah,
Hand
for
out a
sure.
few biscuits live.
Well, how did it come? Like, why did you start with biscuits? Why biscuits and not something else?
Oh, great question. I'll answer that. So,
Too many.
Why not 95? Like, why 93.6?
okay, yeah. So it started like most things Mark and I start. It started very randomly, very spontaneously. We were having a chat one day thinking about doing the podcast, and we thought we have to come up with a rating system. We can't do stars. We can't do Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it's got to be our own thing. We want to be different, right? So I don't know where biscuits came from, but we stuck with it, and we thought, okay, biscuits it is. And then on our second episode, we had a guest on, and he threw in a decimal place. So we were just going with, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then one of our guests said 8.3 or something. And Mark and I, whoa, a whole new realm of biscuits just opened up. So yeah, we started it randomly and we've stuck with it. And we think it just sets us apart from other rating systems.
Because it's arbitrary and means nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's exactly kind of like along the lines we just came up with it. And then we were kind of like talking about Rotten Tomatoes, like the movie rating. And it's probably, okay, so good. You do know what it is, or this wouldn't have made any sense. But kind of like how everyone knows like what's a Rotten Tomato and what do they do and what do they rank things on, but it actually means nothing. Like it's just a Rotten Tomato. So we're like, all right, well, we'll go with biscuits, and maybe one day people will be like, oh yeah, that song's pretty good. I'd give it like 8 biscuits, and then everyone kind of gets it. So one day.
Hopefully, yeah. No, it's good. I mean, we prefer biscuits than stars.
Exactly.
For sure.
And who doesn't like a biscuit, really?
I had planned to bring some biscuits here, but I ate them.
Yeah, we can't keep them in stock. They go too quick. So quick question for you. I know you have your first show coming up, but what is the music scene like in Barcelona? Because I don't think, Mark, you've never been. I haven't been.
No, I was actually planning on going this year. That was like my one spot. I was really fired up to try and go down to Barcelona because it's not that far from Ireland, but unfortunately with COVID.
Yeah.
Musical scene.
Yeah, I think there is a good musical scene, but there are big venues, big concerts, big festivals like Primavera Sound, Sonar. But then for little bands like us, when we start, it's not that easy. That I used to live in France, and I think that there was easier than here. And for little bands like us, and especially we sing in English, and that's indie music, that's not that easy here.
Right.
And there are some other countries in Europe where it could be easier for us.
Right.
Yeah, there are some big things, but not that small places where we should start.
That's true.
Yeah. Do you think the English music scene is growing in Barcelona?
Yeah, I mean, you could say. I mean, it's always been there, but it's always like more Catalan, which is like what we speak here in the region. So Catalan scene or Catalan singers have always had preference here in venues and things like that. So it's easier for them maybe to have a place.
Right.
Spanish too.
Spanish
well,
too.
Right.
I mean, there is like a push for the regional bands speaking the regional language to like grow faster and easier. But also, I think what I find here is that people don't used to go as the audience to an unknown concert. Like, I don't know who's playing today or tonight, but I'm going. It's not that usual here as it is in other countries. So if you are a small band and nobody knows you, it's difficult to get a concert or to get audience because people is like, they go for the big names, for the known names.
That's true.
And that's something we need to work on in Barcelona.
Well, you'll get there. We'll see how the first show goes and then keep working on it, keep pumping you up. Once people listen to the podcast, they'll be happy to come see you live.
No, I mean, it's a huge help. You can laugh, but it's huge help.
No, and I think that's honestly exactly our standpoint and our platform. Like we were musicians from heart by nature growing up, and I think we both with ourselves and with other bands kind of went through the same process of how difficult it is to get venues, and then you finally get a venue and there's like 4 people and your parents and stuff like that. So like we've been through it, and I think kind of being separated and now we're not playing as much live music because I'm away at school and stuff, like it was like, well, how like this was such a cool opportunity for like me and my brother to catch up and chat, but then also like try and help those people that we know were in the exact same situation as us. Like, you know, maybe if somebody listens to our podcast and checks you guys out, you know, it's kind of like, well, I wish somebody put me on a podcast when I had my band and all that. So yeah, hopefully it works out for all the bands and everyone, you know, biscuits become international.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So I do have another question. What made you decide to sing in English? Because you mentioned that that's not kind of the common language to sing in Barcelona. So what was behind making that decision?
Yeah, for example, when I started, the first band that I had, it was in France, and there it's common to sing in English. So I started
Okay.
writing there, and there are many bands that we know, and there like Phoenix, Daft Punk, other bands that they sing in English. That's very common. And then I think I'm not that. I would like to be very good at writing, to write in my own language. So I think that writing in English is different because you're not so shy to sing in English here. And if I sang in my language, then maybe it would be more complicated in that case.
Right.
I suppose
Whereabouts in France did you first kind of start writing and playing?
In France,
Yeah, where?
Nantes. I lived there for 7 years. Nantes.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I know exactly. A few of my friends are from Nantes as well, and they love the music scene there. And they said I was supposed to hopefully visit them this year. Again, I had big visiting plans in my final year of school, but that's funny. I was hoping it was not, because it's one of the only places I know in France.
No. It's really incredible. No, definitely.
Yeah, I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah. There are so many. What we said before that for little bands like us, city, that's a good place to start because there are little bars or little clubs where you can go there and play, and that's easy.
Yeah. I think that would be very similar to Ireland as well. Ireland seems to have a really good music scene for kind of like smaller bands up and coming, where it's just a local bar. And I countless bands that I've seen that I didn't go there for the band. I just went to see some live music, and I think it's cool exposure for the band. So hopefully in Barcelona that can start kind of changing and narrowing and targeting down on the smaller bands, because I think it's such a cool environment and culture to be around.
Yeah. I mean, at the party theme, no one wins us. I mean, we are the outgoing people. We are the party people. Our nighttime schedule. It's normal here to go out party and be back at home at 6 a.m. Not now in quarantine. In normal times it is. So we could take advantage of that and be like the best music scene ever. But yeah, still working on that.
Amazing.
But yeah, Ireland, it has, what I heard in Ireland is that playing on the street, even if someone sees you on the street, they maybe give you a card of their club or their bar, like, hey, I would be interested you play in my pub, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
It would be like a whole different level.
Is it different than in, I don't know, England? Or I mean, because I've been in the local scene in England, and it was as well quite easy to play there. I mean, is it the same in Dublin, or is it even better?
Yeah, like I would imagine if you guys wanted to, you could easily come up and get a spot in a pub on like a Thursday, Friday night or something like that, because I think music is such a huge part of the Irish culture that every corner of every street there's a bar and they're playing live music. Like that's one of my favorite parts about living over here in Dublin, is that on a night out you just walk down the road, you go to a bar, and there's live music, and it ranges from two people with an acoustic guitar to full scale like 7-piece bands. And it is definitely my favorite part about Ireland. So maybe when you guys start performing a little bit and you're getting excited about it, and COVID relaxes, you could come up to Dublin and then play a few shows here. That would be awesome. And I don't think you guys would have any trouble.
No, not at all.
I don't think
We'd be
so.
happy with that.
Sure. Yeah. I think it would be fantastic. So then, I'm gonna quickly change conversations. Ask you guys a thinker, as a band, because or individually. But if you guys could sit down and drink some of those beers with two artists, one alive, one dead. Who would those two artists be?
Huh.
Good one.
Each of
Wow.
us individually or what?
Yeah, alive. I think an easy one, yeah. Alex Turner.
Yeah.
Alex Turner. And then that maybe Jimi Hendrix. That's
Ooh.
one of them. Yeah.
Good answer.
When I started playing guitar, that's what I started playing. Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Wow.
John Lennon. Yeah, I think Alex Turner and John Lennon. That would be my choice.
Right on.
I would go with Alive. Yeah, I think Alex Turner. Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of that movies.
We have a few fans here.
That one. Probably one guy that recently passed away, called Alex Hilario, which is because I used to play like a lot of metal and stuff, and it's a guy who passed away like this last December.
Yeah.
And probably that guy, because I used to play like his songs for 4 hours a day, every day, growing up. So yeah, probably that one.
Awesome.
One for me, it's difficult to say, but I don't know. Now that comes to my mind, maybe that one who passed also recently, the singer from the Prodigy. I don't know if you know this guy. Like, he's completely crazy the way he dresses and how he looked. But he was like a really, I don't know, for me it was very attractive to see him dance and sing and everything. And I don't know, I'd like to have a chat with him. He looked like a nice guy, although everything how he looked. I don't know if you have the picture, but the singer of the Prodigy,
I
no?
don't.
Really?
No,
Wow,
not
he looks
really.
crazy, like
I
full
mean, I
punk.
have this in my head,
English
but-
punk, yeah. So, and Alive. Wow, I don't know. Nah, I'll just pass for that one.
Nobody alive. I don't like anyone alive.
Yeah, I think that I would say Elvis Presley. I'm a huge fan. I don't know, it's my guilty pleasure. But he's on my bathroom door. Actually, they were laughing about it. So yeah, I think Elvis would be a great chat, great person with I would love to share a beer. And then Alive. I don't know, there's many people, but there is a band, a Swedish band, that they are not that well known, but it's called The Sounds. I don't know if you heard about them or
No.
they are
Not too
playing
sure.
like in their beginning where they were more like pop punk and they became more electronic through the time, and they are like I don't know, this alternative pop electronic something. But she's the singer and the like front woman, I guess. And I would always look up to her, like her attitude on a stage, how she was managing with the whole, I don't know, naturality, like being in a world of rock bands, all of them with male figures, and she was the only woman in her band, and she was one more guy, you know. And I always liked her attitude and her, she's like a badass with tattoos and really like smashing everything live. And I would like to have a beer with her. Just I think it would be fun.
And smash a few TVs.
Yeah, Maya Iverson is her name.
Nice. Very cool.
Awesome.
Thank you for answering that. Okay, so I want to dive in a little bit deeper. You know, obviously from hearing the episode, Mark and I are huge fans of the song Alice. We're both totally blown away. Can you give us a little bit of details on the songwriting and recording journey on that song? How did it come to be?
Songwriting. Actually, as I said before, I lived 7 years in Nantes, and Alice talks about the fact that I left my city, Girona, a little city here, and when I arrived in Nantes, because I had some problems, some troubles, then it changed everything in Nantes. So it talks about the fact that you finally fit somewhere, but then you feel as well that someday it will end. So, and you don't want it to end. So that's this kind of feeling. That's what Alice says. Exactly.
Right. And then the recording process. I'm very interested in the recording. I'm a bit of a engineer myself. So where did you do it? Was it done in a studio? Tell me some of the tips and tricks that went into making this track.
Yes, we did it in a studio here in Barcelona, and it was quite straightforward, really. We
One
had
take?
a very clear idea of how we wanted it to sound. I mean, we had everything really practiced because Alice was, I think, one of the second or third song that we did, probably. So it was probably already done by 2019. We had it like in our minds. We knew how it should sound. The verse should have that like funky rhythm, and the chorus should be kind of catchy, and the kind of that solo should be
Your
really
magic solo.
pop sounding. So yeah, we just went to the studio and we had a very, very clear idea on how to do it, and we just told the guys that, and they helped us achieve it.
That's awesome.
And it's not really that, complicated in terms of how many instruments that we use, and it's just really a couple of guitars, really, and that's it. Bass, vocals, drums.
Yeah.
Nothing complicated.
I like it. Simple, but yet eloquent.
So cool. Yeah. So, we mentioned Alex Turner earlier, but in the podcast, I said that Die Krogers is to Arctic Monkeys what Greta Van Fleet is to Led Zeppelin. Die Krogers is to Arctic Monkeys what Greta Van Fleet is to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you heard that before, and how do you feel about that comment?
I wasn't very comfortable with that. Saying, because I like really Greta Van Fleet and all that, and I have listened before to the band and everything, and they are cool. The guys are cool, but at the same time, these guys like get the criticism like, hey, you are like almost plagiaring this other band, which is Led Zeppelin and all that. So I don't know. I like Greta Van Fleet, and I think they sound really awesome. So that's why I like the comment, but at the same time I didn't. So yeah.
That's something that I always kind of, when we go through these podcasts and we listen to all these great songs, like I'm someone that likes to compare it to other bands. And then I always kind of feel bad because I'm like, I don't know if they are, how they're going to take it. Is it like from my perspective and from John's, it's a huge compliment because these are bands that we absolutely love. But it is at the same time, like I do get where you're coming from and how you don't want to be the guy or the band that's copying another band. And that's not at all. But I'm always like, how would I feel if somebody said that about me? And I think you kind of nailed it there. Like Greta Van Fleet does get a lot of criticism for it. And it's kind of strange because I'm like, why are you criticizing this amazing group of musicians who just has a really similar sound? In my opinion, it should just be like, wow, this band's amazing. And they sound a lot like Led Zeppelin. And I think that's where we were coming from, of course, with the Arctic. And I'm a huge Arctic Monkeys fan. So hopefully nobody criticizes you for that, because I think it's a huge compliment coming from both of us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've listened to the other songs, and do you think that the other songs they sound like Arctic Monkeys as well?
Yeah, I have. I've listened to the entire EP. Do I? Yeah, it has a resemblance. It's and I meant that in the best of ways, saying that there's a similarity in style and tone. I don't by any means mean that you're copying them, but it's the sound of your voice is very, very similar. And then
maybe it's about the voice.
It is a lot about the voice for sure. It's not ripping songs off. It's just that tone, that vocal tone that you use is very, very similar, which we love. It's a fine line between it's always a compliment coming from us, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is that we were so stoked about it and so happy to hear that song, and it resembled the Arctic Monkeys in the perfect way to me.
If it as a compliment from the
I would.
Yeah. Me too. I wish my voice sounded like that.
Same here.
Oh no, I just think that that's exactly it, is that one, if I could try and sound like the Arctic Monkeys, I probably would, but I can't. And I think that when people compare it, I never really get the like criticism, and it's like it's a natural sound. Like that's the voice, that's the tone of the music, and that's the direction that 4 individual people came up with. It's not like you were listening to an Arctic Monkeys song and you're like, perfect, this is what we're gonna pull off. Unless you were, but I don't think you were. And I think that it's just so cool that people get these unique styles that then blend with other people's styles. Sure, if you guys sat down with the Arctic Monkeys, you get along great because you have such unique, like similar interests and sounds and styles of music. It's fantastic.
I hope so, yeah. I don't know, it's that point what we want to make, actually, that we don't feel like as labeled as something, as sometimes it's like, yeah, you sound like Arctic Monkeys, label for you, you know, and it's like,
yeah.
Wait, I mean, we are 4 people that we are doing what we feel, and I can't talk about Greta Van Fleet. I think it's the same situation as us, but I don't think they sit there and listen to Led Zeppelin and say, hey,
exactly,
similar to that. So our only point is that we didn't do that.
Totally.
And I think that's exactly where we were coming from, is that like, it's 2 individuals that came up with this amazing sound, and from our perspective, that's just a massive compliment of like, there's this super famous band Arctic Monkeys that we love, and I listen to them all the time, and you know, in a podcast we're trying to explain to listeners like, how does this make me feel, where do I get inspiration from your music, and it's like, wow, that just is so good that it sounds like the Arctic Monkeys, but it's not like, because that's something I always thought about. And I'm like, I don't know. I hope people take that in a great way, because from us, it is a great way. But you could see how it might be like, well, I don't want to be compared to another band. And it's like, oh, well, whoops.
I totally agree. And my one last point that I did want to mention was that there's a huge bonus to also being compared to a band, in the sense that you know what your target group of listeners is. So it's very easy for me to say, hey, if you like the Arctic Monkeys, you will also like Die Krogers. So there's already a target group of listeners there that you know will enjoy your music. And I think there's a huge benefit to that, because we've made music before that we're like, what does this sound like? I have no idea. How do we even get this in front of people that are going to like what we just made? But I think it kind of paves the road, having a similar style to another band. And I think that's why we try to say that in our podcast and compare it to something, so that people know, hey, if you like Mac DeMarco, you'll like this band. If you like A, you'll like B. So that's why we try to.
It's using reference. It's reference. It's not.
Exactly.
Another quote from John. He also said, I'm calling it. These guys are going to be big.
Well, you heard it here first, people. Die Krogers. I'm calling it. No, I'm a fanboy. They're going to be big one day.
So on that note, and I think that's honestly, we truly believe it. You guys write amazing music, and I mean, even just today meeting you guys are super cool. But on that note, what's next? Where are we going? What's your guys' plan? I know you guys have your show in a month, but what, kind of where do you see yourself in 6 months? Where do you see yourself in 2 years? Kind of what are the goals you guys are hoping to accomplish?
Good question.
So now it's difficult because the situation now it's really difficult here, and it was difficult before, as we said, we sing in English and all of these things, and so first concert actually in 3 weeks, and then little by little, so we are sending mails. We've sent so many mails, and we don't have so many answers, but little by little, we have some little answers and little things, little details that they help us to think that something is going to happen. So the first concert, of course, that's the best thing.
Yeah.
And then you just have maybe in some months, some weeks, we have some answer about somebody else.
Festival.
Oh yeah,
Little
other
festivals.
concerts maybe,
A
so,
little
yeah.
festival of upcoming bands. We are waiting on that answer as well.
Basically, just doing more live concerts and playing as much as we can, and yeah, just see.
We're working on new songs as well. I mean,
True.
We have like besides the EP, we have like 5 new songs.
Yeah.
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 I think that they don't sound like that Arctic Monkey. They yeah, they are a little bit different.
It's fabulous. I think they are drifting away from what we have now. And I think that's a good thing because
Cool. Yeah.
they sound like us, but you could not that easily trace it back to Arctic Monkeys, for example. They have done more in our own way, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
And they have like much more influenced by, I don't know, other types of music. So, yeah.
The voice
Awesome.
is the same, but
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
especially in like, you know, I'm saying early, I know you guys have been together for a year or so and playing music for maybe more together, but I think that that's such a cool part of a band is like you're not just making right from the start this EP sound forever. It is cool. I like following bands and kind of seeing that progression and change and seeing what develops over maybe like 5 or 6 years and how bands develop a drastically different sound based on where you are all in your life and the inspirational music that you're coming from. So that's super cool. I'm really excited to hear your guys' new tracks.
Me too.
Yeah.
I genuinely am. And
I mean, we released a new track actually.
Oh yeah.
3 days ago or 4
4
days
days
ago,
ago.
something like that. So if you didn't see it, you Hirst Brothers or you people who are watching, just go to YouTube, Die Krogers, check it out. I'm a Bastard, new tune.
Yeah, it sounds
Amazing.
very good.
yeah, I'll put the link in the description for this video. But yeah, very excited. Gonna check it out.
It's like a rehearsal room. It's not something like it's DIY.
That's so cool.
So then quick follow-up question. As you guys are, you know, kind of playing more live music and hopefully as you deserve getting a few more live spots and some festivals and things like that, where would you guys want to play if you could play anywhere in the world? If anywhere would offer you a gig, where would you want to play?
Glastonbury, like for me, it's like number one festival.
Yeah, Glastonbury.
For me, if it's about festivals, Roskilde Festival in Denmark. I went there, I loved it, but for me, it's about small venues rather than festivals.
yeah, I prefer small venues.
I prefer it, and
Awesome.
the venues, I guess, in Barcelona that I know, but outside Barcelona, any small venue that it's cool and historic, and it has like something behind that. You can go to the, I don't know how it's called, camerino, the
backstage.
The backstage and
Yeah.
be like, hey, I don't know, whoever was here, you know. It's
Yeah.
like-
Right.
Super cool.
But yeah, festivals are well.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. This was a lot of fun, and we're super excited to have been able to meet you. We'll put all the links in the description for when this video does launch, and I'll let you know when it comes. When you guys do plan your international tour, please don't leave Canada out of it. We'll set you up. We'll hook you up with a good show here. So let us know whenever you're coming. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you so much.
It was really nice to talk to you guys and to have the opportunity to, I don't know, show us a bit to the world, and I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah. And hopefully on that note, you know, it'd be awesome to have you guys back on for an episode where we maybe look at some other people's music and you guys can hand out some biscuits. I think the world wants to hear your opinion.
As long as we don't have to throw out
No, those are yours.
You keep
well
those.
done, guys.
Great.
Yeah, no, we would love that. Absolutely. We are always talking about new bands we discover. We are like, hey, check this out. I like this. So
Exactly.
Amazing. All right, stay tuned, folks. Bye, guys. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Nobody out there, I will be out of breath right downstairs.